Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chapter 12 of Health Promotion, Disease Prevention. I'm Jeremy Whitaker, and let's get started. So, of course, the introduction is global health different than U.S. health? And the answer is yes, completely, and no, not really at all. Global health has things, again, that the U.S. has to deal with, the constant flow of people across borders. People take disease between countries. They fly across the world in a day. So diseases move rapidly across the world. Animals, which carry diseases, move across borders. When you had bird flu, you had birds, going from Southeast Asia up into the Arctic Circle, commingling with birds and coming back down through Alaska into the U.S. And it was a concern that migratory birds would bring H5N1 into the country. And of course, weather and climate go across borders. Drought isn't, it doesn't affect necessarily one country, it can affect the whole region. So again, problems move across borders, disease move across borders. But, the next point is each country has wide variations. Eastern China, Western China is a great example. Eastern China is very modern, it's by the sea, Beijing, skyscrapers. And then Western China is a desert and indigenous people living in little more than huts without running water. And so between, a few hundred miles is just a vast difference in culture and resources and things that are available to them. You can think of that in the United States on a similar level. Think, what do they have available in Manhattan and New York City, and what do they have available out on a Native American reservation out in Wyoming or in the Four Corners, where life expectancy for males is around 40, 50 years. Even in Iowa, what is available for services if you live in Des Moines versus if you live in southeast or southwest Iowa in a county of 5,000 or 6,000 people, where there might be 8 hospitals within 10 miles here, and there may not be a hospital in your county down there, or a public health department that has 50 people here and there's a county in southeast Iowa that has a 3/4 time person as their public health department. So again, different resources, different places, which have a very real impact on health. So the book lists these 5 risk factors. Environmental risk is the big one that a lot of it, and again, outside the United States, is clean drinking water, and just the idea that you have fecal oral diseases that often are waterborne. That's a huge one. Of course, things like weather and weather affecting food availability more in less developed countries versus more developed countries. If there's a drought in one part of the U.S., we can still get food over there. But that isn't the case everywhere. Of course, system capacity and infrastructure. We think of, we have a CDC, and we have a state health department, we have local health departments in the United States, but most countries don't have anything that looks like that at all. The local government just does the best they can. Socioeconomic conditions, again, poverty plays a big role in whether you have basically, shelter and access to food and access to healthcare. Money is going to play a big part of that. One of the largest cause of chronic disease is indoor cooking fires. Basically, a lot of people have to use, coals to cook inside, and then that smoke stays in the house and they breathe it in. Political conditions can affect the country greatly, from as minor things as one political party saying health and public health is a bigger priority versus, war. And, obviously that greatly impacts lifespan, not just people dying in war, but the availability of goods, services, medical care, things like that. Refugee status. And then, of course, social patterns, cultural conditions, language barriers, gender roles, things like that. So overseas, you have a bunch of different players, much like the United States. Again, the government-level organizations like the CDC here in the United States, some countries have something like that, most don't. Sometimes other players will kind of try to fill in the gap. Regional organizations, PH440 is listed in the book. Again, international organizations like the World Health Organizations, public-private partnerships, again, nonprofits getting in there, It says financial institutions, the World Bank, again, funding things like vaccine distribution, things like stuff like that. So, looking at your assignments for Chapter 12, well, and all of Module 6. Again, for assignment 11, you're going to look at 2 commercials and compare them and answer the questions in the worksheet. Assignment 12, which is due a little earlier, this is related to this chapter. This chapter mentions 2 health pioneers. I list a few more. I want every one of you to pick a different one and then post it on your discussion board. So you'll need to both turn it in as a homework assignment and then cut and paste it to your assignment board so everybody else can see it. Nothing for Chapter 13, because again, final projects and second test. Then discussion boards, again, marketing and public health. What's the value of, is there value to having a marketing class in a public health program? Then again, the discussion. 5 points for week 12, because again, you're just commenting on other people's, what they cut and paste from their assignment. And then week 13 is a unique discussion about the challenges facing foster children as a special population. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.